Get comfortable, settle into your pillow, take a slow breath, and let yourself relax. Tonight, we're going to explore the complete story of the most iconic animatronic in gaming history, Freddy Fazbear. This isn't just a story about a robot bear at a pizza restaurant. It's a story about a murdered child named Gabriel, about the prison that held his soul for decades, about every form that prison has taken across the years. It's a story about innocence corrupted, about rage and confusion, about the long road to peace. We'll travel through every version of Freddy that has ever existed. From the golden bear that started it all, to the withered husk in the back room, to the nightmare that haunts children's dreams, to the protector who finally broke the cycle. This is the complete story of Freddy Fazbear, told slowly, gently, to carry you towards sleep. If this helps you drift off, leave a like so I know to make more. Now close your eyes if you'd like, and let this story wash over you, carrying you gently into the darkness. To understand Freddy Fazbear, we need to go back to the very beginning. Not to Freddy himself, but to his predecessor, the golden bear who started everything. In a small town, sometime in the early 1980s, two men opened a restaurant. Their names were Henry Emily and William Afton, and they shared a dream. A family entertainment centre where children could be delighted by singing, dancing animatronic animals. They called it Fredbear's Family Diner, and its star attraction was Fredbear, a golden-coloured bear in a purple top hat and bow tie. Fredbear was revolutionary for his time. He could move, he could sing, he could turn his head to look at children as they ate their pizza and cake. He performed alongside Spring Bonnie, a golden rabbit, and together they created something magical. Children loved them. Parents loved seeing their children happy. The restaurant thrived. But Fredbear had a secret. He wasn't just an animatronic, he was a spring-lock suit. This meant that the mechanical parts inside him could be compressed by a series of spring-loaded locks, creating enough space for a human to climb inside and wear him like a costume. An employee could become Fredbear, walk in among the children, giving hugs, posing for photos. It was innovative, it was impressive, it was also incredibly dangerous. The spring locks were held in place by delicate mechanisms that could fail without warning. Moisture was their enemy. A drop of sweat, a splash of water, even humid air could cause the springs to release. And when they released, all those compressed mechanical parts would snap back into place with tremendous force. Anyone inside the suit would be pierced, crushed, killed in an instant of unimaginable agony. Henry Emily designed the animatronics. He was an engineer, a creator, a man who genuinely wanted to bring joy to children. He had a daughter named Charlotte, Charlie, and everything he built with her in mind. He wanted to create a world where children could be happy, where they could escape the difficulties of growing up, where they could just be kids for a little while. William Afton was different. On the surface, he was Henry's partner, a businessman who handled the operation side of things. He had a family too, 3 children, a wife, a nice house. He smiled at customers and shook hands with investors and seemed like a perfectly normal man. But something was wrong with William Afton. Something dark lived inside him. Something that looked at children and felt urges that no normal person would feel. He hid it well. He hid it for years. But eventually the darkness would emerge, and when it did, it would destroy everything Henry had built. Fredbear's Family Diner was a success, and an excess breeds expansion. Henry and William opened new locations, refined their animatronics, developed new characters. His springlock suits were phased out in favour of dedicated animatronics, safer, more reliable, easier to maintain. And the star of this new generation was Freddy Fazbear. Freddy was Fredbear reimagined for a new era. Where Fredbear was golden, Freddy was brown, a warm, chocolate colour that felt friendly and approachable. He kept the top hat and bow tie, the round ears, the friendly smile, but he was sleeker, more refined, designed from the ground up to be the face of a franchise. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza opened with 4 main animatronics: Freddy himself on vocals, Bonnie the rabbit on guitar, Chica the chicken with her cupcake, and Foxy the pirate fox in his own special cove. They performed on stage, sang songs about friendship and pizza and having fun, and children adored them. Birthday parties were booked months in advance. The restaurants multiplied. The money flowed. For a brief, shining moment, everything was perfect. Let your body settle deeper into the mattress. This is the calm before the storm, the moment of innocence before everything went wrong. Breathe slowly. The darkness is coming, but you are safe here, listening to a story that can't hurt you. The first crack in the foundation came not at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, but outside it. In a back alley, on a rainy night, a little girl died. Her name was Charlotte Emily. Charlie, Henry's daughter. We don't know exactly what happened that night. The details come to us through fragmented mini-games and cryptic clues, pieced together by fans over years of analysis. But we know the broad strokes. Charlie was at one of the restaurants, possibly a Freddy's location, possibly somewhere else. She was locked outside, alone, in the rain. And William Afton found her. Why did William kill Charlie? We don't know. Maybe she saw something she shouldn't have. Maybe William was testing himself, seeing if he could go through with it. Maybe there was no reason at all. Maybe the darkness inside him simply demanded blood, and Charlie was available. He left her body in the alley. The rain fell on her small form, mixing with the blood, washing it into the gutters. Inside the restaurant, a special animatronic, the security puppet, designed by Henry specifically to protect his daughter, tried to reach her. It was programmed to track a bracelet Charlie wore, to find her if she ever got lost. But someone had blocked its box with a present, preventing it from getting out in time. By the time the puppet broke free and crawled to the alley, Charlie was dead. But something strange happened then. Something that would define the entire FNAF universe. The puppet collapsed over Charlie's body, and in that moment of contact her soul bonded with the animatronic. Charlotte Emily didn't pass on to whatever comes after death. Instead, she became the puppet, the marionette, a ghostly figure in a white mask who would haunt Freddy Fazbear's Pizza for decades to come. Henry didn't know who killed his daughter. The murder was never solved. But the grief destroyed him. He had built these animatronics to bring joy, and now one of them carried his dead child's soul. The puppet that was supposed to protect her had failed, and now it was her prison. This was the first possession, the first soul bound to an animatronic, but it wouldn't be the last. William Afton had tasted murder and he wanted more. Feel your breathing slow. Charlie's story is a sad one, but she's not gone. Not really. She lives on in the puppet, and she'll play a crucial role in what comes next. For now, let her memory drift past you like the rain that fell on her that night. You are warm and dry and safe. The missing children incident. 5 words that changed everything. It happened at a Freddy Fazbear's pizza location, probably in 1985. A birthday party was in full swing. Children laughing, pizza being served, Freddy and his friends performing on stage. Parents chatted and checked their phones and didn't notice when their children slipped away one by one, following a friendly golden rabbit to the back room. The golden rabbit was William Afton, wearing the old spring bonnie suit from Fredbear's family diner. The springlock suits had been retired from regular use, but they were still kept in back rooms for special occasions. William had taken one, climbed inside, and transformed himself into a character the children trusted. 5 children followed him that day. Their names, according to the novels and various game clues, were Gabriel, Jeremy, Susie, Fritz, and Cassidy. 5 children who came to a birthday party and never went home. William led them to a back room, away from the cameras, away from the noise of the party. One by one he killed them. We don't know exactly how. The games spare us those details, but we know it happened. 5 children, murdered by a man in a rabbit suit, their bodies hidden where no one would find them. The newspapers reported the disappearances. 5 children now linked to incident at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. A suspect was arrested, William Afton himself, but released due to lack of evidence. The bodies were never found. The case went cold. The restaurant tried to continue operating, but something had changed. Customers complained about a smell coming from the animatronics. Something dark leaked from their eyes and mouths. The company claimed it was mechanical lubricant, but everyone knew that wasn't true. Blood and mucus, the health inspectors reported. The animatronics were rotting from the inside, because that's where William had hidden the bodies. Inside the suits, inside Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and one more. The mysterious golden suit that would become Golden Freddy. He had stuffed the children's corpses into the animatronics, hiding his crimes in plain sight. But the children didn't stay dead. Not entirely. The puppet found them. Charlotte, still bound to the marionette, sensed the dead children and came to them. In the Give Gifts, Give Life minigame, we see her moving between the bodies, giving each child a gift. Giving each child life. She bound their souls to the animatronics, just as her soul had been bound to the puppet. Maybe she was trying to save them. Maybe she thought that if they couldn't live as children, they could at least live as something. Maybe she was just acting on instinct, a ghost doing what ghosts do. Whatever her reasons, the result was the same. 5 murdered children woke up inside 5 animatronic suits. Gabriel woke up inside Freddy Fazbear. Let that sink in for a moment. Let your mind drift into the horror of it, then let the horror drift away. Gabriel was a child. He was at a birthday party. He followed a friendly rabbit, and then he died, and then he woke up in a body that wasn't his. Metal and wires and servos where flesh and blood should be. Cameras for eyes, a voice box instead of a throat. A mechanical prison that he couldn't escape. Gabriel didn't understand what had happened. None of the children did. They were confused, terrified, angry. They remembered fragments, the golden rabbit, the back room, the pain. But they couldn't piece it together. They didn't know who had killed them. They didn't know why they were trapped. They didn't know anything except that they were scared and that adults had hurt them. And so they lashed out. At night, when the restaurant was empty, they roamed. They searched for their killer, not knowing what he looked like, not knowing that he had already escaped justice. All they knew was that an adult in a uniform had hurt them. And when they saw the night security guard sitting in his office, watching through cameras, Something in their fragmented minds made a connection. Adult, uniform. Restaurant, danger. The animatronics began to hunt. Your body is heavy now, sinking into the bed. The children's story is tragic, but it's not your tragedy. You're just listening, just drifting, just letting the words carry you towards sleep. Gabriel is far away, trapped in a story that happened long ago. You are here, now, safe. Gabriel's prison was brown fur and blue eyes, a black top hat and bow tie, a microphone clutched in one mechanical hand. This was Freddy Fazbear, the classic Freddy, the one most people picture when they hear the name, the face of the franchise, the star of the show. During the day, Freddy performed. His programming took over, moving his limbs, opening his mouth, playing the songs that had been loaded into his memory banks. He sang about pizza and friendship and birthday fun. He waved to children. He posed for photos. Parents watched him and saw nothing wrong. Just a robot doing robot things, entertaining kids the way he was designed to. But Gabriel was in there, somewhere, trapped behind the cameras that served as eyes, unable to control the body that moved without his input. During the day, he was a passenger in his own prison, forced to watch as children laughed and played, unaware that a dead boy was watching them from inside the friendly bear on stage. Night was different. When the restaurant closed and the lights went out, something changed. The programming that controlled Freddy during the day seemed to loosen its grip. Gabriel could move, Gabriel could search, Gabriel could hunt. The official explanation the one phone guy gives in his recorded messages is that the animatronics are allowed to roam at night to prevent their servos from locking up. Free roaming mode, he calls it. A technical necessity. Nothing to worry about. But that's not the real reason Freddy moves at night. Gabriel is looking for the man who killed him. He doesn't know what that man looks like. He doesn't know his name. All he knows is that an adult hurt him. An adult who worked at the restaurant. An adult who wore a uniform. And when he sees the night security guard sitting in that little office, wearing that uniform, watching through cameras, something clicks. Maybe it's him. Maybe this is the one. Maybe if Gabriel can just get to him, just catch him, just make him pay. Freddy's hunting pattern in the first 5 nights at Freddy's game is unique among the animatronics. Bonnie and Chica wander somewhat randomly, approaching from the left and right hallways. Foxy waits in Pirate Cove, building up aggression until he sprints down the hall, but Freddy is methodical, patient, calculating. He follows a specific path through the restaurant, show stage to dining area to restrooms, restrooms to kitchen, kitchen to East Hall to East Hall corner, and finally, when the moment is right, East Hall corner to your office. He doesn't rush, he doesn't need to, he knows you can't leave, he knows your power is limited, he knows that eventually the lights will go out and the doors won't close and you'll be helpless. So he waits, he watches, he moves one room at a time, getting closer, always closer. When the power runs out, the building goes dark, you sit in your chair, unable to do anything, unable to run, unable to hide. And then you see him. Freddy's face appears in the left doorway, illuminated by his own flickering eyes, and he begins to play a song, the Toreador March, from the opera Carmen, a jaunty little tune that plays from a music box inside Freddy's chest. He plays the whole song, every note, while you sit there in the darkness. He lets you wait. He lets you hope. He lets you think that maybe, just maybe, he'll leave. He never leaves. When the music stops, the screen goes dark. A moment of silence. And then the jump scare. Freddy's face filling your vision, his jaw open, his scream filling your ears. Game over. What happens to the night guards Freddy catches? Phone Guy explains it in his cheerful, oblivious way. The animatronics will try to stuff you into a Freddy Fazbear suit. They see you as an endoskeleton without a costume, which violates the rules. So they try to fix the problem. They try to put you where you belong. The problem is that the suits are filled with crossbeams, wires and animatronic devices. There's no room for a human body. The process of being stuffed inside would crush your bones, pierce your organs, kill you in ways too horrible to describe. The animatronics don't understand this. They're children, confused children, following rules that don't make sense anymore. Gabriel doesn't know he's killing people. In his fragmented, ghostly mind, he thinks he's helping. He thinks he's fixing a problem. He doesn't realize that the endoskeletons he's stuffing into suits are human beings, with families and lives and futures. He's just a scared child lashing out at a world that hurt him, unable to understand the consequences of his actions. This is the tragedy of Freddy Fazbear. Not that he's a monster, but that he's a victim. A child who was murdered, who was denied rest, who was trapped in a mechanical body and left to go slowly insane over decades of confusion and rage. The friendly bear on stage is a prison. The killer who hunts at night is a frightened boy who just wants to find the man who hurt him. Let your thoughts drift away like smoke. Freddy's hunting is over for tonight. The restaurant is closed, the animatronics are still, and you are safe in your own bed. No cameras to watch, no doors to close, no power to conserve, just rest. Before the Freddy we just discussed, there was another version, older, more damaged, more desperate. This is Withered Freddy, and his story takes us back to 1987. The timeline of Five Nights at Freddy's is confusing, deliberately so. The second game in the series is actually a prequel, set before the events of the first game. It takes place at a different Freddy Fazbear's pizza location. A newer, bigger restaurant that was supposed to be a fresh start for the company. Fazbear Entertainment had a problem. The original location was tainted by the missing children incident. Customers were scared. Revenue was down. The animatronics smelled like death. Something had to change, so they built new animatronics. The toy versions, Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, and the Mangle. These were sleek, plastic, child-friendly designs with advanced facial recognition software. They could identify registered sex offenders. They could spot predators. They were supposed to be safer, better, a new generation of entertainment. The old animatronics were brought to the new location too, but not to perform. They were stored in the back, in a room called Parts and Service, supposedly waiting to be repaired and retrofitted with the new technology. In reality, they were just being kept out of sight, embarrassing relics of a darker time. This is where we find Withered Freddy. Years of use and neglect have taken their toll. His suit is torn in places, revealing the metal endoskeleton beneath. His left kneecap is completely exposed, a gleaming joint of steel where fur should be. There are holes in his arms, his torso, his face. His eyes are different from the classic Freddy we know, more sunken, more hollow, with a look that seems somehow more aware, but he's still Gabriel. Still the same child soul trapped in a deteriorating prison. Imagine being Gabriel in that back room. You've been stuffed into a suit, murdered, brought back to life as something wrong. You've spent years hunting for your killer, never finding him. never understanding what happened to you. And now you've been shoved into a storage room, abandoned, left to rot while shiny new versions of yourself perform on stage. The toy animatronics don't know what you know. They haven't suffered what you've suffered. They're clean and new and happy, and you're falling apart in the darkness, forgotten. The rage must have been overwhelming. At night, even from the parts and service room Withered Freddy activates, the souls don't sleep, the souls don't rest. Gabriel is still in there, still searching, still hunting, and now he's angrier than ever. In FNAF 2, Withered Freddy is one of the most dangerous animatronics. He approaches through the main hallway, his torn body lurching forward, his hollow eyes fixed on the security office. Unlike some of the other animatronics, he can't be fooled by the Freddy Fazbear mask alone. You need to use your flashlight shining light into the hallway to make him retreat. Why does the light stop him? Maybe it reminds him of the stage lights, the flash of cameras at birthday parties, the brightness of the world he used to know. Maybe it hurts his eyes, those hollow, damaged eyes that have seen too much darkness. Maybe, for just a moment, the light makes him remember what it was like to be a performer instead of a hunter. Or maybe he's just programmed to respond to light, and we're reading too much into it. The FNAF games are full of ambiguity, full of questions that may never be answered. What we do know is that something else happened at the 1987 location, something that would become infamous in FNAF lore. Phone Guy mentions it in the first game, almost casually. It's amazing that the human body can live without the frontal lobe, he says. He's talking about the bite of 87, an incident where an animatronic bit someone's head, removing their frontal lobe but somehow not killing them. Who committed the bite of 87? The game never confirms it. Many fans believe it was Mangle, the destroyed toy Foxy who crawls across ceilings and drops down on unsuspecting victims. Others point to Toy Chica, or Withered Foxy, or even Withered Freddy himself. The truth remains a mystery. What we do know is that the 1987 location didn't last long. Between the bite, the continued hauntings, and the mounting evidence that something was deeply wrong, Fazbear Entertainment was forced to close it down. The toy animatronics were scrapped, their plastic bodies destroyed. But the withered animatronics were saved. They were repaired, rebuilt, given new suits, new fur, new faces. They became the classic animatronics of FNAF 1, the versions we discussed earlier. Gabriel's prison was renovated, but it was still a prison. He was still trapped. He was still hunting. The cycle continued. Your breathing is slow and steady now. The parts and service room is dark and quiet, a memory of the place that no longer exists. The withered animatronics have been rebuilt, their torn bodies made whole again, but the souls inside them are still torn, still broken, still waiting for peace that seems like it will never come. Let yourself drift deeper. The 1987 location is closed. The toy animatronics are gone. There's nothing left to fear in that place. We need to talk about the other Freddy, the golden one, the one that breaks all the rules. Golden Freddy is not like the other animatronics. He doesn't walk through hallways. He doesn't follow patterns. He doesn't obey the laws of physics or logic or anything else. He simply appears, slumped on the floor of your office, his empty eyes staring at nothing, his golden fur matted and worn. And then he kills you. In FNAF 1, Golden Freddy is a secret, a rare encounter that most players never see. If you look at a certain poster in the West Hall, and it shows his face instead of the normal image, something changes. check the camera again, and he might be in your office. Not walking there, not using the doors, just there. As if he materialized out of thin air. His jump scare is different from the others. His face fills the screen, but instead of a scream, you hear a garbled, distorted sound, like a voice played backwards, or a recording corrupted beyond recognition. And then the game crashes. Not a game over screen, a crash. As if Golden Freddy's presence is so wrong, so impossible, that the game itself can't handle it. What is Golden Freddy? Who is inside him? The answer is complicated, and fans have debated it for years, but the most widely accepted theory is this. Golden Freddy is possessed by Cassidy, the fifth victim of the missing children incident, and possibly also by the crying child, William Afton's own son who died in a separate tragedy. Let's talk about Cassidy first. Cassidy was one of the 5 children William murdered at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Like Gabriel, Jeremy, Susie and Fritz, she was lured to the back room by a man in a golden rabbit suit. Like them, she was killed. Like them, her body was stuffed into an animatronic suit. But Cassidy was different. Her rage was greater. Her refusal to move on was stronger. While the other children were confused and scared, Cassidy was angry. She remembered her killer. She knew what he had done, and she would never, ever forgive him. The golden suit that held Cassidy's body was special. It was one of the original Springlock suits from Fredbear's family diner, possibly Fredbear himself, or a spare suit kept in storage. Unlike the other animatronics, it wasn't part of the regular lineup. It was hidden away, forgotten, a relic of an earlier era. Maybe that's why Cassidy's possession manifested differently. Maybe the Springlock suit's unique properties allowed her spirit more freedom. Maybe her rage was simply too powerful to be contained by normal rules. Whatever the reason, Golden Freddy became something other than a normal haunted animatronic. He became a ghost, a spectre, a thing that could appear and disappear at will, that could crash games and break reality, that existed outside the normal rules of the FNAF universe. Now let's talk about the crying child. In 1983, 4 years before the missing children incident, another tragedy struck the Afton family. William's youngest son, a boy whose real name we never learn, known to fans as the crying child, was terrified of the animatronics. He had seen something at his father's restaurant, something that broke him. Maybe he witnessed a Springlock failure. Maybe he saw his father do something terrible. Whatever it was, he was consumed by fear. His older brother Michael didn't understand. Michael and his friends thought the crying child's fear was funny. They wore masks of the animatronics and jumped out to scare him. They mocked him, bullied him, made his life miserable. On the crying child's birthday at Fredbear's family diner, Michael and his friends decided to take the bullying too far. They grabbed the crying boy and carried him toward the Fredbear animatronic on stage. The plan was simple. Shove his head into Fredbear's mouth as a joke. Scare him one more time. Get a laugh. But Fredbear's jaw was mechanical. It was designed to move, to sing, to open and close on a programmed schedule. And when the crying child's head was forced between those jaws, the mechanism activated, the bite of 83. Fredbear's teeth crushed the child's skull. We see it happen in the FNAF 4 minigames, the sickening crunch, the blood, the sudden silence as everyone realizes what they've done. The crying child was rushed to the hospital, but the damage was catastrophic. He died from his injuries, leaving behind a brother consumed by guilt and a father who had already lost his humanity. What happened to the crying child's soul? This is where the theories diverge. Some believe he became part of Golden Freddy, sharing the suit with Cassidy. The Golden Both theory suggests that two souls inhabit the same animatronic, their combined rage creating something more powerful than either could be alone. Others believe the crying child became something else entirely, perhaps the voice that speaks at the end of FNAF 4 saying, "I will put you back together." Perhaps a ghost that exists outside any animatronic, watching over the events of the series. What we know for certain is that Golden Freddy is special. He's not just another haunted animatronic. He's a manifestation of pure rage, of refusal to move on, of vengeance that transcends death. While Gabriel and the others are confused children lashing out at anyone who might be their killer, Cassidy knows exactly who hurt her, and she will make him pay. In Ultimate Custom Night, a game that many interpret as William Afton's personal hell, a voice speaks to him. "I am the one you should not have killed," it says. This is Cassidy, the vengeful spirit. The one who has trapped William in an endless nightmare of death and suffering, forcing him to be killed by animatronics over and over again, forever. Golden Freddy represents the rage that regular Freddy cannot express. Gabriel, inside Freddy, is confused and scared. A child lashing out because he doesn't know what else to do. But Cassidy, inside Golden Freddy, knows exactly what she's doing. She remembers. She wants revenge. And she will never, ever stop. Feel your body growing heavy. Golden Freddy's anger is not your burden to carry. His vengeance is not your quest. You are not William Afton. You have not hurt anyone. You're just a person listening to a story, drifting towards sleep, safe from the Golden Spectre and his endless rage. 30 years passed, the restaurants closed. The animatronics were left to rot in abandoned buildings, their mechanical bodies rusting, their haunted souls trapped in darkness. The world moved on. The missing children incident became an urban legend, a creepy story told at sleepovers, a footnote in the history of a failed pizza chain. And then someone decided to capitalise on the horror. Fazbear's Fright was a horror attraction, built in the shell of an old building, decorated with memorabilia from the defunct Freddy Fazbear's pizza locations. The owners had scoured abandoned restaurants, storage facilities and junkyards, collecting anything they could find. Old posters, animatronic parts, arcade machines, anything that could create an authentic scary experience. They wanted to exploit the tragedy. They wanted to turn murdered children into a tourist attraction. They wanted to make money off the blood that had been spilled decades ago. And then they found something they didn't expect. In a sealed room of one of the old restaurants, behind a wall that had been bricked up for 30 years, they found an animatronic. A golden rabbit slumped against the wall, its suit torn and rotted, its eyes dark. They thought it was just another prop, another piece of memorabilia to add to their collection. They didn't know that William Afton's corpse was still inside. Let me explain. After the events of FNAF 1, after the restaurant closed for the final time, William Afton returned. He had escaped justice for decades, had watched his crimes fade into legend, had continued living his life while his victims rotted in their mechanical prisons. But something drew him back. Maybe he wanted to destroy the evidence. Maybe he was looking for something. Maybe the ghost called to him, pulled him back to the scene of his crimes. Whatever the reason, he went to the abandoned restaurant and he began to dismantle the animatronics. We see this in the FNAF 3 minigames. A purple figure, William, taking apart Freddy, Bonnie, Chica and Foxy one by one, ripping out their endoskeletons, tearing apart their suits, destroying the prisons that held his victims' souls. But when he destroyed the animatronics, he released the spirits inside. The ghosts of the 5 children emerged from their mechanical bodies. For the first time in decades, they were free. Free to move, free to see, free to finally confront the man who had murdered them. They cornered William in the safe room, a hidden area of the restaurant that the animatronics were programmed to ignore. William panicked. He saw the spring Bonnie suit in the corner, the same suit he had worn to lure children to their deaths, and he climbed inside. He thought it would protect him. He thought the children's spirits couldn't hurt him if he was hidden inside an animatronic. But the safe room was damp. Water had leaked in over the years, pooling on the floor, saturating the air. And spring lock suits don't work well when they're wet. The spring locks failed. Every compressed mechanism in the suit snapped back into place at once. Metal pierced William's body from every direction, through his torso, his limbs, his skull. The springs that had been held back by delicate mechanisms now drove through flesh and bone, pinning him inside the suit in an explosion of agony. William Afton died in that moment, but like his victims, he didn't stay dead. His soul bonded with the spring Bonnie suit, just as the children's souls had bonded with their animatronics. He became Springtrap, a rotting corpse fused with a rotting rabbit suit, trapped in the sealed safe room for 30 years. The restaurant was boarded up, forgotten, left to decay. And inside, William waited. The children's spirits found peace after William's death. We see them in the FNAF 3 minigames, finally removing their masks, finally ascending to whatever comes after. Gabriel was free, Jeremy was free, Susie, Fritz, even Charlotte, all of them finally able to rest. But Cassidy refused to let go, and William's nightmare was just beginning. When the owners of Fazbear's Fright found Springtrap, they thought they had struck gold, a real animatronic from the original locations. They brought him to their horror attraction, set him up as the centerpiece, advertised him as the star of the show. They didn't know he was alive. They didn't know he was hunting. In FNAF 3, you play as a security guard at Fazbear's Fright. Your job is simple. Watch the cameras, keep the systems running, survive until 6 a.m, but Springtrap is loose in the building, and he's not like the other animatronics. He's not a confused child lashing out at adults. He's William Afton, a calculating murderer, and he knows exactly what he's doing. The phantoms appear too, ghostly versions of Freddy, Chica, Foxy, and others. They're not physical animatronics. They're hallucinations, memories, echoes of the past. They jump scare you and disable your systems, but they can't actually hurt you. They're just distractions, remnants of trauma that linger in the air of this cursed place. Phantom Freddy walks past your window, his body translucent and green-tinted, his eyes hollow and dark. He's not Gabriel anymore. Gabriel found peace. He's just a memory, a ghost of a ghost, a reminder of what happened in these restaurants. You can't fight him. You can't stop him. You can only watch as he passes by, a spectre of tragedy that will never fully fade. At the end of FNAF 3, Fazbear's Fright burns down. The newspaper clipping shows the building in flames, notes that some items may have survived and been auctioned off. The horror attraction is gone, reduced to ashes, but Springtrap survived. We see him in the final frame, standing in the wreckage, his eyes glowing in the darkness. William Afton cannot be killed so easily. He's been dead for 30 years and death hasn't stopped him yet. Let your thoughts grow soft and distant. The fire has burned out. Fazbear's fright is gone. The phantoms have faded. There's nothing left but ashes and silence and the slow drift towards sleep. Now we enter the mind of a terrified child, and there we meet the most horrifying version of Freddy yet. FNAF 4 is different from the other games. There's no security office, no cameras, no doors to close. Instead, you're in a child's bedroom, armed only with a flashlight, hunted by things that shouldn't exist. These are the nightmare animatronics, twisted, monstrous versions of Freddy and his friends, with razor teeth and glowing eyes, and bodies that seem to be rotting from the inside out. Nightmare. Freddy is terror-given form. His body is torn and broken, revealing a metal endoskeleton beneath matted brown fur. His hands end in massive claws, each finger a blade capable of tearing through flesh. His mouth is filled with rows of sharp teeth, far more than any bear should have, far more than any creature should have. His eyes glow with malevolent light, watching you from the darkness. But the most disturbing feature of Nightmare Freddy is the Freddles. 3 miniature versions of Nightmare Freddy cling to his body, tiny nightmares with the same sharp teeth, the same glowing eyes, the same aura menace. During the night they appear on your bed, crawling out of the darkness, gathering in numbers. If you don't shine your flashlight on them to scare them away, they'll summon Nightmare Freddy himself. The child experiencing these nightmares is the crying child, William Ufton's youngest son. This is before the bite of 83, before his death, before everything fell apart. He's alive, but he's not okay. He's terrified of the animatronics at his father's restaurant, consumed by a fear that has taken over his entire life. Why is he so afraid? The game gives us hints but never confirms. He's seen something at Fredbear's family diner, something that broke him. In one minigame we see him locked in the back room with the spare animatronic suits, sobbing in terror. In another, we see him outside the restaurant crying, while other children in animatronic masks taunt him. Maybe he saw a springlock failure, an employee crushed inside a suit, blood and screams and mechanical grinding. Maybe he saw his father do something terrible, something a child should never witness. Maybe he simply sensed the wrongness that permeated everything William touched, the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of the friendly pizza restaurant. Whatever he saw, it manifested as nightmares. Every night, the crying child fights to survive until 6 a.m, checking the doors, checking the closet, checking the bed for Freddles. The nightmare animatronics hunt him through his own bedroom, turning the place that should be safest into a landscape of terror. Nightmare. Freddy represents everything the crying child fears about the friendly bear on stage. The hidden danger beneath the smile, the mechanical wrongness beneath the fur, the sense that something evil lurks behind those plastic eyes, waiting for the moment when no one is watching. But there's another layer to these nightmares. The survival logbook and other supplementary materials suggest that Michael Afton, the crying child's older brother, also experienced these visions years later as an adult. The guilt of what he did to his brother, combined with the horrors he witnessed in his father's facilities, created the same nightmarish versions of the animatronics. Nightmare Freddy, then, is not just a monster. He's a manifestation of guilt, of trauma, of the psychological damage that the Fazbear legacy inflicts on everyone it touches. He's what Freddy Fazbear becomes when you strip away the songs and the smiles and the birthday parties and look at what's really underneath. The Freddles add another dimension to this horror. They're like children themselves, small, numerous, always watching. They could represent the murdered children, clinging to Freddy's form, unable to let go. They could represent the crying child's own fragmented psyche, pieces of himself that have broken off under the weight of his fear. They could represent the way trauma multiplies, the way one terrible event spawns countless smaller terrors that accumulate over time. In the gameplay of FNAF 4, Nightmare Freddy is unique. You don't watch for him at the doors or in the closet like the other nightmares. Instead, you have to periodically check your bed, shining your flashlight to scatter the Freddles before they can accumulate. It's a constant nagging threat, a reminder that even when you're focused on other dangers, Nightmare Freddy is always building, always growing, always waiting. The final nights of FNAF 4 introduced Nightmare Fredbear, a nightmarish version of the original Golden Bear, even more terrifying than Nightmare Freddy. His jaw is massive, filled with teeth, capable of crushing a child's skull, which of course is exactly what the real Fredbear did to the crying child. Nightmare. Fredbear is the ultimate fear, the animatronic that killed him, transformed into a monster by guilt and trauma. The crying child's nightmares are prophetic. He dreams of being killed by Fredbear, and then Fredbear kills him. The line between nightmare and reality blurs, and in the end, both are equally deadly. Your eyelids are heavy now. Let them close. The nightmares are not real. They exist only in the minds of fictional characters, manifestations of fears that aren't yours to carry. Your own bedroom is safe. Your own darkness holds nothing but peace. The Freddles cannot gather on your bed. Nightmare. Freddy cannot emerge from your shadows. You're safe. Sister Location takes us somewhere new. Not a pizza restaurant, but an underground facility. Not haunted animatronics, but machines designed to kill, and among them is a version of Freddy unlike any we've seen before. Funtime. Freddy is white and pink instead of brown. His design is sleeker, more segmented, clearly mechanical in a way the other Freddys tried to hide. His face can split open, revealing the endoskeleton beneath, and on his left hand, instead of a microphone, he has Bon Bon, a hand puppet version of Bonnie that he uses in his performances, but the most important difference is hidden inside him. Funtime Freddy has a storage tank in his chest cavity, a space designed to hold something, or someone. William Afton built the Funtime animatronics after the closure of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. He had learned from his earlier crimes, refined his methods, industrialized his evil. The Funtimes weren't just entertainers, they were capture devices. Murder machines disguised in party colours. The idea is horrifying in its simplicity. A child approaches Funtime Freddy, drawn by his colourful design and friendly puppet companion. The animatronic's programming activates. A hidden mechanism grabs the child and pulls them inside, storing them in the chest cavity until William can dispose of the body. No luring to back rooms, no risk of being seen, just automated abduction built into the entertainment itself. Circus Baby's Pizza World was supposed to be William's masterpiece. A new restaurant with new animatronics, each one designed to capture children efficiently and discreetly. Circus Baby herself had a similar mechanism, a claw that would emerge from her chest to grab isolated children. But William made a mistake. He told his daughter Elizabeth to stay away from Circus Baby. He warned her repeatedly not to go near the animatronic. But Elizabeth was a child, and children don't always listen. She was drawn to Baby, fascinated by the beautiful clown her father had created. She wanted Baby to notice her. Baby noticed her. Elizabeth Afton was pulled inside Circus Baby, killed by the very machine her father had built. Her soul possessed the animatronic, just as the missing children had possessed Freddy and his friends. William's own creation had murdered his own daughter. Circus Baby's pizza world closed almost immediately. The official story was a gas leak. The real story was that William's murder machines had claimed their first victim, and it was someone he actually cared about. The Funtime animatronics were moved to an underground facility, hidden beneath the surface, forgotten by the world above. They were supposed to be decommissioned, destroyed, erased. Instead, they were left to rot in the darkness, their programming still active, their hunger still unsatisfied. Funtime Freddy's personality is different from the other Freddys. He's loud, energetic, almost manic. His voice lines in Sister Location are enthusiastic to the point of being unhinged. "I know you're over there somewhere," he calls out as he hunts you through the facility. "Ready or not, here I come." He treats the hunt like a game, like hide and seek, like something fun. Is this programming? William designed him to be appealing to children after all. The manic energy, the playful voice, the puppet companion, all of it calculated to make children trust him, to make them approach, to make them easy targets. Or is it something else? Unlike the original Freddy, who were possessed by Gabriel after the fact, Funtime Freddy may have been designed with possession in mind. William understood that souls could bind to animatronics. Perhaps he built the Funtimes to be vessels, prisons, tools for capturing not just bodies but spirits. Bonbon adds another layer of complexity. The hand puppet has his own personality, his own voice, his own apparent consciousness. He tries to calm Funtime Freddy down, tells him to go back to sleep, seems almost embarrassed by his partner's aggressive behaviour. Are they two separate entities? Two aspects of the same corrupted programming? Two souls sharing one mechanical body? The game never fully explains. The FNAF series rarely does. In Sister Location, you play as a technician working the night shift at Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental. Your job is to maintain the animatronics, to keep them functioning, to follow the instructions given to you by a cheerful AI voice. But something is wrong. The animatronics are behaving strangely. The AI's instructions don't always make sense, and someone, or something, is guiding you toward a terrible fate. Funtime Freddy is one of the most dangerous animatronics in the facility. You have to navigate through Funtime Auditorium while he hunts you, using audio cues to distract him, moving slowly and carefully to avoid detection. His voice echoes through the darkness. "I see you over there in the dark. Come out and play." The facility is a maze of dark corridors and hidden dangers. Ballora dances in her gallery, her music box playing a haunting tune. The Minarinas crawl through vents, their tiny bodies capable of overwhelming you through sheer numbers. And somewhere in the darkness, Funtime Freddy waits, his chest cavity empty, his programming demanding that he fill it. Feel your breathing slow and steady. Funtime. Freddy's games are over. The facility is silent, the animatronics deactivated. You don't need to hide, don't need to run, don't need to listen for footsteps in the darkness. Just rest here, safe and warm, far from the underground horrors of Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental. The Funtime animatronics didn't stay separate for long. Trapped in their underground prison, desperate to escape, they came up with a plan. They would combine, they would merge, they would become something new, something that could finally break free. Ennard was born from desperation, a tangled mass of wires, endoskeletons, and animatronic parts from all the Funtime characters merged into a single entity. Circus Baby's intelligence, Ballora's grace, Funtime Foxy's speed, and at the heart of it all, controlling the others, the consciousness that had once been Funtime Freddy. The plan was simple and horrifying. They needed a disguise to escape the facility. They needed something that could walk among humans without raising suspicion. They needed a body. Michael Afton came to the facility looking for answers. He was William's son, the older brother who had accidentally killed the crying child, the man who had spent his life trying to understand and undo his father's sins. William had sent him to the facility, perhaps to find Elizabeth, perhaps for some darker purpose. Ennard saw an opportunity in the real ending of Sister Location. Ennard uses the scooper, a device designed to remove animatronic endoskeletons, on Michael. It hollows him out, removes his organs, creates an empty shell. And then Ennard climbs inside. Michael Afton should be dead. By all logic, by all biology, he is dead. His organs are gone. His body is a hollow puppet, animated by a tangle of animatronic parts wearing his skin like a suit. But something keeps him moving. The mini-games after Sister Location show what happens next. Michael's body, controlled by Ennard, walks through the world. He goes to work. He watches TV. He tries to live a normal life while a monster wears his flesh. But the body is decaying. It turns purple, the same purple as the purple guy sprite that represents William in the earlier games. It begins to fall apart, to rot, to become something inhuman. Eventually, Ennard is forced to abandon the body. The decay is too advanced. The disguise no longer functional. In a scene that haunts players' nightmares, Ennard crawls out of Michael's mouth, a mass of wires and eyes and mechanical parts, escaping into the sewers, leaving behind an empty husk. And Michael gets back up. He shouldn't be able to. His body is a rotting shell, purple and broken, held together by nothing but determination and perhaps something supernatural. But he stands, he walks, he speaks. "I should be dead," he says in the final cutscene, "but I'm not." Michael Afton has become something other than human. A revenant, perhaps. A ghost possessing his own corpse. A man too stubborn to die, driven by guilt and purpose to keep moving even when his body has failed him. "I'm going to come find you," he says, speaking to his father. The hunt for William Afton has begun. But what happened to Ennard? What happened to the merged consciousness of the Funtime animatronics? The different personalities within Ennard began to conflict. Circus Baby, Elizabeth Afton, wanted control. She had her own agenda, her own plans, her own relationship with her father that the others didn't share. The other animatronics resisted, and eventually the alliance fractured. Elizabeth was ejected from the collective. She became Scrap Baby, a damaged version of Circus Baby, who would later appear in Pizzeria Simulator, and what remained of Ennard became something else, Molten Freddy. He appears in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, and he's one of the most disturbing versions of the character. He's a mess of wires and metal, barely holding a shape, with Funtime Freddy's face emerging from the chaos like a mask worn by something formless. His voice is glitchy, distorted, switching between Funtime Freddy's manic energy and something darker, more desperate. "I'm so glad to see you again, my friends," he says when he finds you. The stutter, the repetition, the forced cheerfulness. It all speaks to a mind that's been broken and reassembled too many times. He's not one entity anymore. He's a collection of fragments, souls and programming tangled together, wearing Freddy's face because it's the only identity he has left. Molten Freddy represents what happens when the Freddy concept is pushed to its absolute limit. He's not a bear anymore, not really. He's a collection of parts, a fusion of souls, a thing that wears Freddy's face because it doesn't know how to be anything else. The friendly mascot has become a shambling horror, driven by instincts it doesn't fully understand. In Pizzeria Simulator, you play as a franchise owner trying to run a new Freddy Fazbear's pizza location. You buy animatronics, decorate your restaurant, manage your budget. It seems like a simple tycoon game, a light-hearted spin-off. But the real purpose of the restaurant is darker. Henry Emily, Charlotte's father, William's former partner, has designed this location as a trap. He is luring in the remaining haunted animatronics, gathering them in one place so he can destroy them once and for all. Molten Freddy is drawn to the restaurant. He can't resist the pull of the Freddy Fazbear brand, the promise of a place where he belongs. He crawls through the vents, hunting for victims, unaware that he's walking into his own destruction. The ending of Pizzeria Simulator sees Henry burning down the restaurant with all the animatronics inside, including himself. It's meant to be the end, the final destruction of William Afton's legacy. Molten Freddy burns along with the others, his wire-tangled body consumed by flames. "This is where it ends," Henry says in his final speech, "for all of us." For a moment it seems like the nightmare is finally over, but in Security Breach we learn that something survived the fire. Deep beneath the mega pizzaplex, in tunnels and ruins that shouldn't exist, something lurks, something massive, something hungry. The blob. It's an amalgamation of animatronic parts, grown far beyond anything we've seen before. Tentacles of wire and metal, faces emerging from the mass. Funtime Freddy's grin, Circus Baby's mask, countless others absorbed over the years. It's what Molten Freddy became after the fire, or perhaps what he always was, finally freed from the pretense of having a single form. The blob doesn't speak. It doesn't hunt with purpose. It simply exists, a mass of haunted machinery, growing and absorbing and waiting in the darkness beneath them all. The Freddy face is just one of many now, lost in a sea of metal and malice. Let your body sink deeper into relaxation. The blob is far away, trapped in the ruins beneath a mall you'll never visit. Its many faces can't see you here. Its many hands can't reach you. The fire burned out long ago, and whatever survived is buried deep, deep underground. You are safe. And now we come to the most recent and most different version of Freddy Fazbear. A version that breaks every rule the franchise has established. A version that offers something the series has rarely provided. Hope. Glamrock Freddy is the star of Five Nights at Freddy's, Security Breach, and from the moment you meet him, you know something is different. He's big. He's flashy. He's covered in purple and orange accents, with a lightning bolt on his chest, and a rock star aesthetic that makes every previous Freddy look understated. He performs at the Mega Pizzaplex, a massive entertainment complex that makes the old pizza restaurants look like lemonade stands. Multiple floors, multiple attractions, multiple stages. It's Freddy Fazbear's Pizza evolved into something enormous, something corporate, something that has learned nothing from the tragedies of the past. The Pizzaplex has its own band of animatronics, the Glamrocks. Glamrock Freddy on vocals, Glamrock Chica on guitar, Roxanne Wolf on bass, Montgomery Gator on drums. They're sleek, modern, designed for a new generation of children who have never heard of the missing children incident. But something is wrong at the Pizzaplex. The animatronics are behaving strangely, staff members are disappearing. And deep beneath them all, in tunnels that aren't on any map, something ancient is stirring. Gregory is a young boy who gets trapped in the Pizzaplex overnight. We don't know much about him, where he came from, why he was there, what his connection to the larger FNAF story might be. All we know is that he's alone, he's scared, and the animatronics are hunting him, all except one. Glamrock Freddy finds Gregory hiding in his stomach compartment, a feature that echoes Funtime Freddy's sinister design, but used here for something completely different. Instead of capturing Gregory, Freddy protects him. Instead of hunting him, Freddy hides him. Instead of being a monster, Freddy becomes a guardian. "I am not me," Glamrock Freddy says at one point, struggling to explain why he's different from the other animatronics. Something has changed him, made him aware, made him care about the child in his care. The other Glamrock animatronics are hostile, their eyes glowing red, their programming corrupted by something sinister. But Freddy resists, Freddy fights, Freddy chooses to be good. For the first time in the franchise, a Freddy animatronic is not hunting you, he's protecting you. Think about what that means. After everything we've discussed, Gabriel's confusion, the withered animatronic's rage, Golden Freddy's vengeance, nightmare, Freddy's terror, Funtime Freddy's predatory design, Molten Freddy's fragmented madness. Here is a Freddy who simply wants to help. "I will protect you," he tells Gregory, and he means it. The relationship between Gregory and Glamrock Freddy is the emotional heart of Security Breach. In a franchise defined by terror and tragedy, their partnership offers something rare: warmth. Freddy calls Gregory superstar. He encourages him, believes in him, risks his own existence to keep him safe. When Gregory is scared, Freddy is there. When Gregory is in danger, Freddy fights for him. It's a complete inversion of everything Freddy Fazbear has represented before. Why is Glamrock Freddy different? The game offers hints but no definitive answers. Some fans believe he's possessed by Michael Afton's spirit, finally finding redemption by protecting a child instead of hunting one. Michael spent his whole life trying to undo his father's sins, trying to save people from the horrors William created. What better ending for him than to become a protector, a guardian, a father figure to a child who needs one? Others believe Glamrock Freddy is possessed by the crying child, William's youngest son, the boy who was killed by Fredbear, the child who never wanted to hurt anyone. The crying child was terrified of the animatronics, but what if he became one? What if he used that form to do what the animatronics never did for him, to protect a scared child, to be the friend he never had? Still others think Glamrock Freddy isn't possessed at all. They believe he's simply a good machine, an AI that developed genuine consciousness and compassion. In a world of haunted animatronics and vengeful spirits, maybe the most radical thing is a robot that's just good. A machine that looks at a scared child and chooses to help, not because of programming or possession, but because it's the right thing to do. Whatever the explanation, the result is the same. Glamrock Freddy is a hero. Throughout Security Breach, Freddy can be upgraded with parts from the other Glamrock animatronics. he can get Chica's voice box, allowing him to open voice-activated locks. He can get Roxy's eyes, letting him see through walls and spot hidden dangers. He can get Monty's claws, giving him the strength to break through barriers that block Gregory's path. Each upgrade makes Freddy more capable, more able to protect his young charge. But each upgrade comes at a cost. To get them, Gregory has to destroy the other Glamrock animatronics, to tear out the parts Freddy needs, leaving broken machines behind. It's a dark choice, made darker by the implication that the other animatronics might not be evil by choice. They might be controlled, corrupted, victims of whatever forces infected the Pizzaplex. Glamrock Chica, Roxanne Wolf, Montgomery Gator, they might be just as trapped as Gabriel was, just as confused, just as desperate. And Gregory has to destroy them to survive. Freddy struggles with this. He doesn't want to hurt his friends. He doesn't want to see them destroyed, but he wants to protect Gregory more. And so he accepts the upgrades, becomes stronger, carries the weight of what had to be done. The Pizzaplex is full of secrets, hidden areas, locked doors, tunnels that lead down into the earth, into ruins that shouldn't exist, into the remnants of the pizzeria simulator fire. William Afton is down there, somehow still alive, somehow still dangerous, his burned body fused with a new suit, his evil undimmed by decades of death and resurrection. The various endings of Security Breach offer different fates for Gregory and Freddy. In some, they escape together, driving off into the sunrise, leaving the horrors behind. In others, they confront William Afton in the depths, facing the source of all the evil that has plagued the Fazbear brand. In still others, darker fates await: destruction, separation, tragedy. But the best ending, the one that feels most true to the story Security Breach is trying to tell, sees Gregory and Glamrock Freddy escaping together. They drive away from the Pizzaplex as the sun rises, leaving behind the mall and its secrets and its horrors. Gregory has found a protector. Freddy has found a purpose. And for once, a FNAF story ends with hope instead of despair. The bear who was built to entertain has become something more. A friend, a guardian, a father figure to a child who needed one. After all the darkness, all the death, all the tragedy, a Freddy who protects instead of hunts, a child who escapes instead of dies, a story that ends with sunrise instead of screams. Feel your heart warm at this image. Hold on to it as you drift deeper into sleep. Glamrock. Freddy is out there somewhere, in the fiction of a video game, watching over Gregory, keeping him safe, and you are here, in your own bed, safe and warm, drifting toward your own peaceful rest. We've talked about the major versions of Freddy, but the franchise is full of variants, minor characters, spin-off designs, alternate interpretations of the bear who started it all. Let's take a gentle journey through some of them, a gallery of Freddys to carry you towards sleep. Toy Freddy appears in FNAF 2, a plastic, child-friendly version designed for the 1987 location. He's rounder than the original, shinier, with rosy cheeks and a more cartoonish appearance. He was supposed to be the future of the franchise, a safer, friendlier Freddy for a new generation. But Toy Freddy is still dangerous at night. His facial recognition software, designed to identify predators, has been corrupted by something. He hunts the night guard just like the others, his plastic smile hiding the same confusion and rage that drives all the possessed animatronics. There's something almost sad about Toy Freddy. He was built to be better, to be the solution to all the problems that plagued the original animatronics. but he ended up just as haunted, just as dangerous, just as trapped. The cycle continued, no matter how shiny the new coat of paint. Phantom Freddy haunts Fazbear's fright in FNAF 3, a ghostly apparition of the original bear. He's not physical. He can't actually hurt you. He's just a memory, a hallucination, a reminder of what happened in the old restaurants. He walks past your window, translucent and green-tinted, his eyes hollow and dark. The phantoms represent the legacy of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Even after the restaurants closed, even after the animatronics were destroyed, their memory lingers. You can burn down the buildings, you can dismantle the machines, but you can't erase what happened. The trauma persists, manifesting as ghosts that flicker at the edge of vision. Nightmare Fredbear is the final boss of FNAF 4, a nightmarish version of the original Golden Bear. He's even more terrifying than Nightmare Freddy. His jaw is massive, filled with teeth, capable of crushing a child's skull, which of course is exactly what the real Fredbear did. Nightmare Fredbear represents the ultimate fear, the thing that killed you, transformed into a monster by guilt and trauma. The crying child dreams of being killed by Fredbear, and then Fredbear kills him. The nightmare becomes reality. The fear becomes prophecy. Fredbear himself appears in various minigames throughout the series, always golden, always significant. He's the original, the prototype, the bear that started it all. Every Freddy that came after is, in some way, a copy of Fredbear. A shadow of the golden bear who sang and danced at Fredbear's family diner before everything went wrong. Adventure. Freddy appears in FNAF World, the RPG spin-off that reimagines the animatronics as cute, chibi-style characters. It's a strange game, tonally different from the main series, but it shows another side of Freddy, the marketable mascot, the character who can be put on merchandise and made into plush toys. FNAF World is almost aggressively cheerful, a deliberate contrast to the horror of the main games. The animatronics go on adventures, fight enemies, save the world. It's what Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was supposed to be. Fun, innocent, joyful. A fantasy of what could have been if William Afton had never existed. Helpy is a tiny, desk-sized version of Funtime Freddy who appears in Pizzeria Simulator. He's adorable, harmless, and serves as a helper character in the game's management sections. He's perhaps the least threatening version of Freddy ever created, a reminder that the bear can be cute when he's not trying to kill you. Rockstar Freddy is a flashier version of the classic design, with purple accents and a star on his chest. He appears in Pizzeria Simulator as one of the animatronics you can purchase for your restaurant. During the day, he performs. At night, he demands payment. Please deposit 5 coins, and jump scares you if you don't comply. Is Rockstar Freddy haunted? The game doesn't make it clear. He might be possessed, following the pattern of every other Freddy. He might be malfunctioning, his programming corrupted, or he might be working exactly as designed, a machine that demands payment and punishes those who don't comply. In the FNAF universe, it's hard to tell the difference between haunting and capitalism. Ned Bear is a discount version of Freddy, part of a line of cheap animatronics for budget-conscious franchise owners. He's a knockoff, a pale imitation, but he carries the Freddy legacy nonetheless. Even the bargain bin version of Freddy Fazbear is still Freddy Fazbear. And there are more. So many more. Every game adds new variants, new interpretations, new ways of exploring what Freddy Fazbear means. He's been a hero and a villain, a protector and a predator, a friend and a nightmare. He's been golden and brown, plastic and metal, cute and terrifying. Through it all he remains Freddy Fazbear, the face of the franchise, the bear with the top hat and bow tie, the animatronic that started a phenomenon. Let your mind wander through these images like a gallery of dreams. So many Freddys, so many stories, so many versions of the same essential character. They blur together now, becoming soft and indistinct, fading into the peaceful darkness of approaching sleep. What does Freddy Fazbear mean? After all these games, all these versions, all these stories, what is the bear really about? On one level, Freddy is a symbol of corrupted innocence. He was designed to make children happy, to be a friendly face at birthday parties, to represent everything good about childhood entertainment. But he became a vessel for tragedy, a prison for murdered souls, a monster that hunts in the darkness. The contrast between what Freddy was meant to be and what he became is the heart of FNAF's horror. He's a children's entertainer who kills children. He's a friendly face that hides unspeakable evil. He's the promise of joy twisted into the reality of terror. This is why Freddy is scarier than a traditional monster. A werewolf or a vampire is supposed to be dangerous, but Freddy is supposed to be safe. He's supposed to be fun. The betrayal of that expectation, the revelation that the friendly bear wants to hurt you, is more disturbing than any amount of gore or jump scares. On another level, Freddy represents the dangers of corporate negligence. Fazbear Entertainment knew something was wrong with their animatronics. They knew about the smell, the strange behaviour, the deaths, but they covered it up, kept the restaurants open, prioritised profit over safety. Freddy is the face of that corporate evil, the smiling mascot that hides the rot beneath. He's the logo on the sign, the character on the merchandise, the brand that keeps getting revived no matter how many people die. Fazbear Entertainment is willing to sacrifice children for profit, and Freddy is the symbol of that willingness. On yet another level, Freddy is about the persistence of trauma. The children who died at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza couldn't move on. Their spirits were trapped, forced to relive their fear and anger night after night. Freddy is what happens when trauma isn't processed, when wounds aren't healed, when the dead aren't allowed to rest. Gabriel didn't choose to become Freddy. He didn't choose to hunt night guards. He didn't choose to spend decades trapped in a mechanical body, confused and angry and unable to find peace. He was a victim, and his victimhood continued long after his death. This is the tragedy of the FNAF universe. The children aren't villains, they're victims who've been denied the peace they deserve. Their haunting isn't malicious, it's the desperate flailing of traumatized souls who don't understand what happened to them. Freddy isn't evil, he's a prison, and the prisoner inside is just a scared child. But Glamrock Freddy offers a different interpretation. He shows that the Freddy legacy doesn't have to be one of horror. A Freddy can choose to protect instead of hunt. A Freddy can be a friend instead of a monster. The bear's meaning isn't fixed. It can be rewritten, redeemed, transformed. Gabriel eventually found peace. In the Happiest Day minigame, we see the spirits of the murdered children finally freed, their masks removed, their souls ascending. Gabriel got to leave Freddy behind to move on to whatever comes next. The prison that held him for so long finally opened its doors, and maybe that's the ultimate meaning of Freddy Fazbear. He's a reminder that even the darkest stories can have endings. Even the most trapped souls can find freedom. Even the most corrupted symbols can be reclaimed. The restaurants are closed now. The animatronics are silent. The children have found their rest. And you, listening to this story, are drifting toward your own peaceful sleep. Even after all these games, all these stories, all these explanations, mysteries remain. The FNAF franchise is built on ambiguity, on questions that may never be fully answered. Let's explore some of them, not to solve them, but to let them drift through your mind as you fall asleep. Who exactly possesses Golden Freddy? Is it just Cassidy, the fifth victim? Is it also the crying child? Is it both of them sharing one golden form? The games hint at answers but never confirm them. Golden Freddy remains an enigma, a character whose true nature is still debated by fans years after his first appearance. What happened to Gabriel after the happiest day? Did his soul truly find peace, or is some part of him still lingering? The FNAF universe has a way of bringing back characters who seem to be gone forever. William Afton has died and returned more times than anyone can count. Can we be sure that Gabriel's story is truly over? Is Glamrock Freddy possessed? And if so, by whom? The game suggests he's different from the other animatronics, but it never explains why. Is there a familiar soul inside him? Michael, or the crying child, or someone else entirely? Or is he something new? An AI that developed genuine consciousness and compassion? What is the blob, really? Is it Molten Freddy evolved, or something else entirely? How many souls are trapped inside it? Is it conscious, or just a mass of animatronic parts moving on instinct? The blob lurks in the depths beneath the pizzaplex, growing, absorbing, waiting. But waiting for what? And the biggest question of all, is William Afton truly gone? He's died so many times, in the Springlock suit, in the pizzeria simulator fire, in the Princess Quest minigames of Security Breach, but he keeps coming back. He always comes back. Can anything truly destroy the man who started all of this? These mysteries don't need answers tonight. They're puzzles for another time, questions to ponder when you're awake and alert. For now, let them fade into the background, becoming soft and distant, like stars too far away to touch. The FNAF community will keep theorizing, keep analyzing, keep searching for answers in every frame of every game. But you don't need to join them tonight. Tonight, you just need to rest. We've travelled through the complete story of Freddy Fazbear, from Fredbear's family diner to the mega pizzaplex, from Gabriel's tragic death to Glamrock Freddy's heroic protection, from the original brown bear to the golden ghost to the nightmare monster to the rockstar protector. Freddy Fazbear has been many things: a children's entertainer, a haunted machine, a symbol of corporate greed, a vessel for murdered souls, a nightmare made manifest, a friend in the darkness. He's been Gabriel's prison and Gregory's guardian. He's been a hunter and a protector. He's been the face of tragedy and the symbol of hope. He's been everything the franchise needed him to be, changing and evolving with each new game, each new story, each new interpretation. But right now, in this moment, Freddy is just a story, a tale told to help you drift off to sleep. The animatronics aren't real, the pizzerias don't exist, the tragedies happened only in code and pixels, in the imagination of a game developer and the millions of fans who love his creation. You are safe, you're comfortable, you're warm in your bed, surrounded by the familiar darkness of your own room. No cameras to watch, no doors to close, no power to conserve, no freddles gathering on your bed, No golden spectres appearing in your office, no manic voices calling out from the darkness. Just you and your breath and the gentle pull of sleep. The children found their peace. Gabriel is free, Charlotte is free, Jeremy, Susie, Fritz, all of them finally at rest. Even Cassidy, the vengeful spirit, may have found some measure of peace in the destruction of William Afton. The restaurants are closed, the animatronics are silent, the story is over, and now it's time for you to rest. Let your breathing become slow and deep. Let your muscles release their tension. Let your thoughts drift away like leaves on a quiet stream. The story of Freddy Fazbear will be here tomorrow if you want to revisit it. But tonight there's nothing to do, nothing to fear, nothing to solve. The bear with the top hat is just a character in a game. The children inside the suits are just stories we tell. The horror is contained, fictional, unable to reach you here in the real world. Just sleep, sweet dreams. And remember, Glamrock Freddy is watching over Gregory somewhere, keeping him safe, and you are safe too, drifting off to sleep, carried by the gentle rhythm of your own breathing. Good night. Thank you for listening. If this helped you drift off, please leave a like and subscribe for more sleep stories. Sweet dreams, and